Welcome back to the Tide Hanger. This is Mike. I'm coming at you with another video. This time I want to talk to you about distributors of third-party Masterpiece Transformers and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm going to start off with the big dog, TFSOURCE. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I want to start with them, but I'm looking at doing multiple different videos. Some of the smaller ones I'll probably put two in one video. But TFSOURCE is big enough that I could talk about them. Now, I'm going to talk a few things. First off, the hatred that they receive and why they receive it. And I think why I don't think that they really deserve all of that. This is not an infomercial for them at all. The next thing I want to talk about is the things that they do well, what they do for the community. I mean, just what the service they provide. And then I want to get into talking about the future videos of the companies I want to talk about and kind of where it's going from there. And I'm also going to ask you guys a question at the end that I would like a response to and will help me in future videos. But before we get into all of this fun, great stuff, I do want you to hit the subscribe button. If you have not subscribed to me or you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, get these new videos as soon as they come out, and give me some feedback. I love comments. Also, when you hit that like button, it makes me decide that this is the kind of content that you want. I have a lot of different video, I'd say, ideas and avenues and ways that I'm going. Instead of just straight reviewing original figures and just comparisons, there's other things I think that, well, just don't exist on YouTube, and I'm going to create that. So, getting into this TFSOURCE now. The negatives. I hear a lot of people bashing TFSOURCE. When I pop up on a forum, a message board, that dates myself to see how old I was in message boards. But when I pop up into a forum or on a Facebook group and I talk about, hey, I just got this in from TFSOURCE, always somebody there to bash TFSOURCE. Always. Without fail. Someone jumps in and goes, oh, you got ripped off. You overpaid. Whatever. And so, at first I was like, well, I'm a little embarrassed. I bought from TFSOURCE. I'm not in the know on where to buy stuff from, I guess. And the truth is that getting into the first major complaint that everyone has is that they're the most expensive. So, yes, they are pricey. Sometimes you can find them figures $10 or $20 cheaper somewhere else, usually overseas. A lot of the U.S. sellers have to sell their stuff more at a higher price than someone's just importing it, sending it from China, which that might all change soon, believe it or not, with what's going on in politics. But I'm going to leave politics alone and out of this video. But with that, TFSOURCE and all the other ones that are located in the United States of America have to pay shipping twice. And I don't think everyone really understands all that. And so when they have to ship a giant crate or multiple giant pallets to their warehouse, then they ship it to your house. Just because it says free shipping on their site on items over $150 doesn't mean that it didn't cost them anything. Cost them the same whether they show the charge or don't show the charge, or they eat the cost in a way or they don't eat the cost. So yes, you're going to see a premium price, but not on everything. So let me give you an example. With the Zeta Toys Superion, when we got Silverbolt, it was $140 everywhere. Now, some of the overseas you might be able to say $5, but it's $140 pretty much everywhere. They had it priced the same as everybody else, and a lot of things you'll find they're priced about the same as everyone else. So, getting into this, I want to talk about the price is always the biggest issue. It's always going to be a concern for everybody. The second thing that I hear people complain about a lot is the long duration of time before items ship. And with such a large organization, a big organization, it's going to take a while for things to ship. And it just is what it is. Now, I've had to wait what felt like, over a week to get something once I placed my order. And then I just really don't pay too close of attention unless it's something that's really hot that I need to get quick. I don't really watch the updates. As long as I get it in a week or so, I'm good. But the reality is that you can order something off of eBay from a US seller and have it in 2 days. That's much faster than going through them. But the reality of it is, sometimes it depends on price, it depends on availability, and all of that great stuff. But yeah, I mean, it may take a little bit longer than some other U.S. distributors just because they're so big. And that is what it is. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Then I've heard a lot of minor complaints that I really can't speak to, so I won't even bring them up. But I want to move into some positive aspects. Now, this is not an infomercial for TFSOURCE, and I do want to, before I get into this part, if you notice, I do have a TF Direct down there. I'm trying to work with TF Direct to get some test shots, some early test releases, so that I could have them first and review them first. That's really my whole goal with TF Direct, and that's why I'm kind of sponsoring, supporting them in a way, or they're sponsoring me, I guess you could say. So, looking into the first point I want to talk about of TFSOURCE and what they're doing that is good. And they get a lot of new info first, and they'll send out newsletters with this information, and they're the first ones putting this info out. Such as, they list an item for pre-order, 90% of the time they list the price. So I'm kind of getting tired of other sites putting up pre-orders and price unknown. Like, how are you going to pre-order something if you don't even know how much it's going to be when it comes in? Like, that is an issue. Yeah, people complain about TFSOURCE's price. Okay, they complain about the price, but you know what you're going to pay for sure. Other places, you don't know what it's going to be. And I put down some pre-order. Some of them require you $20 to put down towards your pre-order. When it pops up, it costs more. If it does cost more than what you could have pre-ordered through TFSOURCE and not had to put a deposit down. So there's some issues right there. And I get a lot more information too. They usually put in a ton of information, lots of pictures, lots of photos, and they get the information really fast. So that's the people who run the site are keeping up with that. And that's awesome, and I love that kind of stuff. I personally utilize it as a resource. Second thing I want to talk about is the reliability and the reputation. And so funny too, I mentioned reputation. Sometimes they have a negative reputation on all these forums, and I only think it's about 3% of the people the collectors out there that have this mentality, but they talk so loud and are so, they hit you so hard as soon as you want to say something nice about them. It's funny. It's really funny. But I think they got a good reputation, and I've never had a problem. In fact, I've recently forgot I had a pre-order with them, and then I emailed them and was like, in all these years, I've never forgotten I had a pre-order with you on something I've already bought somewhere else. I found a much better price, by the way. And they were cool about it, but they said, in the future, we'll let you have this one because you've been a good customer for so long, but this is not, it's against their rules to pre-order something and then cancel your pre-order once it's come in stock. You have to cancel before it's in stock. Once it's in stock, you're supposed to pay for it, or they shut your account down. Theoretically, I don't know. But anyhow, they were really cool about that, and they were cool about a vintage item I ordered and shipping. So I think they got a great reputation. They've always done me right. And by the way, I've actually never been burned by any of the sites I order from, other than some customs and imports and stuff. But anyway, so moving into my third point. Now here, this is going to take the sting off the price, and that's the source points. Now, I don't know exactly how the source points work. I didn't do all the math on that. I just know that on my next order, I got like $23 that I could take off of whatever I'm buying. So I'm, every 6 months or so, I'll use my source points. And that's just the way it is. Now, the more you buy, the more source points you get, and that's obvious. And it's still, it makes it sort of comparable to the other ones that have lower prices, because when you buy something, let's say theirs is $10 more, you knock $23 off, you get it cheaper than anywhere else just because you use your source points. Now, staying in line with kind of price-wise, when they have a sale, they have a sale. And I got to tell you that when the Titans are usually, whatever the Hasbro's Transformer Titan figure is, usually hits a sale, and it goes to like, I don't know, $100, $99, something like that. on Black Friday. But they always have sales all the time, and I know some of these figures that were 120 bucks, they took it to 60. They always have some sales. The thing is, when they're that big, if inventory sits for too long, they need to get rid of it, and they'll clearance down, get rid of it, kind of like what BBTS does. But I pick up a lot of sales. I troll their clearance section and just buy up a lot of their sales. And they love people like me because they want to get rid of that stuff. They just want to get rid of it. And so if you're there at the right time and you buy it, it's great. Just like with Impossible Toys stuff when it went on sale. And that stuff went to like 20 bucks. And I bought a handful of Impossible Toys stuff. I just didn't buy the right stuff. But anyway, looking into my fifth point, and this one here I think is the most important, and it is that they are a great resource for old information because they keep everything up they've ever listed, I think. Now, I can't prove that. They've taken something down maybe in the past. But when you go look at like I was just talking about Impossible Toys, when you look at their stuff, their listings, all these Impossible Toys, and you look at this stuff and you say, you could go see almost everything that company produced. You can see what it was selling for. You can, in some cases, a slash through it and what they clearanced out for. And it's a great resource for the past and knowing what we used to have to pay for these things. So that is a lot of fun for me when I'm trying to research some prices and trying to get an idea of what this stuff used to sell for versus nowadays. And having all this great resource that you could go in and you could be like, well, let's just see here. What's X-Transbot's got coming? They have everything in there. What has X-Transbot's, what's on pre-order? What's in stock? And all of that. What of the Fans Toys items have sold out with TFSOURCE? If it's sold out with TFSOURCE, that means it's probably sold out everywhere. So, great resource there. Lastly, I want to get into future companies, and I'm asking my question, who do you like to buy from the most? And I want to check that site out. If I already buy from them, I'm going to do a video with my experiences. But I want to know who you buy from the most. Who is the most reputable retailer? Who do you like the most? If it is TFSOURCE, say it's TFSOURCE. If it's TF Direct, Shows E, Chosen Prime, Toy Dojo, all of those. I'm missing some. I should have to look at my list here of places I frequent. But let me know what you think. Which ones would you like to see me discuss, talk about in the future? And of course, like and subscribe, because Titanium Hanger is out.